Good day, I'm Theodore Henry, and this is your JIS News for Tuesday, January 21, 2025. More than 13,000 residents from Green Pond and surrounding communities in St. James are accessing primary health care in more spacious and comfortable surroundings. This follows the official reopening of the Green Pond Health Center, which was renovated under the government's Operation Refresh initiative at a cost of $30 million. It included expansion of the building to provide air-conditioned medical records and consultation rooms, enclosing the main waiting area and erecting perimeter fencing. The health center provides maternal and child health care, as well as wound care and dressing services to residents of Green Pond, Farm Heights, Portobello Mews, and Cornwall Courts. It's the 13th health center in St. James to benefit from improvement works under Operation Refresh, which has a target of revitalizing 325 such facilities island-wide. Health and Wellness Minister Dr. Christopher Tufton says it's all part of providing a space that encourages more people to access preventative health care services at the community level.
Our physical facilities must be in a better condition. They have to look healthy. They have to look the part, play the part, as we encourage the community to get more involved. We are basically bringing greater credibility to healthcare at the community level.
Additional improvements at the Green Pond Health Center will include an on-site pharmacy and increased access to medical doctors who will provide services from Mondays to Fridays. Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness is assuring Jamaicans that the government has instituted robust checks and balances to ensure transparency and accountability in the new social housing program, NSHP. He points to a legislative framework underpinning the NSHP, which highlights the role of the Ministry of Housing and the Housing Act.
The Housing Act essentially directs the Minister of Housing to hold and use lands in such a way as to provide housing either commercially or socially for persons who are in need. And it requires that the minister, in exercising the duty under the law, particularly as it relates to social housing, that the minister does an assessment. So we don't provide a benefit without first assessing the need and the beneficiary.
Dr. Holness was speaking on Friday as he delivered several NSHP units in St. James. Addressing concerns regarding the program's adjudication process, the Prime Minister says there is a system in place to assess the needs and reinforce the NSHP's fairness and equity.
We have managed to build a public bureaucracy to deliver this kind of benefit in the Ministry of Economic Growth and Job Creation. And it has done very well. We have now delivered over 300 units, and we intend to expand the rate of delivery. And we have done so without any hint of any misallocation, misappropriation, without any form of corruption.
8 schools have been successfully integrated into the government's Financial Management Information System, GFMIS, marking a significant step in improving financial oversight within the education sector. These schools were among 50 selected to participate in a pilot project, which included training and connectivity support. To date, 194 school personnel and 14 regional financial and ICT staff have been trained on the new system. The GFMIS integration is aimed at strengthening financial oversight in education. Permanent Secretary in the Education Ministry, Dr. Casson Troop, says it's expected to reduce the financial accountability burden on school principals, particularly at the primary level.
Right now, the principals, especially at our primary school, 766 of them, they have to account for the financial resources. And as Dr. Stokes alluded to, we have to remove that from them so they can function as instructional leaders in the true sense of that word.
Dr. Troop was addressing a recent press conference hosted by the Education Transformation Oversight Committee at the UWI regional headquarters in St. Andrew. Government Senator Dr. Sapphire Longmore is advocating for stronger safeguards to protect young people in their online activities. Her call comes in response to the increasing online consumption among adolescents. She's urging parents and guardians to establish clear guidelines to ensure their children navigate the digital space responsibly. Dr. Longmore made these remarks during her contribution to the 2024-2025 State of the Nation debate in the Senate on Friday. The senator highlighted data that reveals a notable shift in traditional social behavior among Jamaican teenagers, mirroring trends observed in countries such as the United States.
I want us to recognize that one of the reasons the kids are not drinking or using substances as much is because they're not socializing as much. They are actually being asocial because of the consumption online. And there's a lot of kids out there who are actually quite lonely.
Dr. Longmore told the upper house that this was among the reasons that several countries had banned the use of social media by children under 16 years.
I'm not saying that we must consider these extremes, but we must find a balance. And what I'm saying to us is that we must also remember as parents to guide our children in the virtual space.
Over 600 positions available in various health facilities island-wide will be showcased at the Ministry of Health and Wellness inaugural Career Expo and Employment Fair. It's being staged in collaboration with the Ministry of Education, Skills, Youth and Information at the Confucius Institute of the University of the West Indies Mona campus on January 22 and 23. The event aims to expose high school and university students as well as the general public to diverse career opportunities within the health sector. Attendees are encouraged to bring printed copies of their resumes for on-the-spot interviews between 9 a.m. and noon and 1 p.m. to 5 p.m. both days. And finally, as the country observes Earthquake Awareness Month, the Earthquake Unit at the University of the West Indies is reporting that 2024 was a year of significant seismic activity. Speaking at a recent JIS think tank, head and research fellow at the unit, Kevin Tanku, revealed that 600 earthquakes were recorded.
These include around 310 located local earthquakes, 19 felt earthquakes, which included earthquakes that occurred locally as well as in the near region.
The strongest earthquake recorded locally last year had a magnitude of 5.2.
This was felt across the island in different parishes. Of course, this sort of followed the event that we had in the Blue Mountain Block in 2023, that larger earthquake, the magnitude 5.6. And a lot of these local figures that we get both in 2023 and 2024 is as a result of the aftershocks following the larger events.
And that's it for JIS News today. I'm Theodore Henry. Thanks for watching.